Hello, everybody. I want to welcome you to another segment of Destination Health Podcast, Finding Function in a Dysfunctional World. I want to welcome everybody to the podcast today. We're going to do a little bit of a mini cast. We have always a very special guest on and a very special friend and a client that has made an incredible transformation. Nadine Moxon. Nadine, welcome to the show yet again.
Thank you.
I think you're number two in terms of guests. We're going to have to make you, number one at some
Number
point.
one, yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
you want to be number one. So, for those of you who've been following us, Nadine and I don't know how we contacted each other, but one thing led to another, and Nadine said that she wanted to get back and doing shows because she's a figure competitor, and she wanted to get back and doing shows. And we were just talking one day, and I said, you know what? Nadine, let me see if I can help you out with that. I have experience in this, and we decided to give it a shot. And it's worked out extremely well. And the new photos that are coming out are really incredible. I can't tell you what they are. She just showed me. But they are incredible. And she's made it not only, and the reason why I love the story. And Nadine and I are really good friends at this point in time. And, she shared a lot of what she's gone through, and she was vulnerable enough to do that. And I had listened to her, and I said, let's bring you to a higher level. Because when I work with a client, it's giving them, if you have to lose weight and you have a relationship with food, or if you have a poor relationship with food, you have a poor relationship with yourself a lot of times. Let's bring this to a higher level, not only physically, but mentally and emotionally. And she shared some of the struggles, if you will, that she's gone through in her life. And she's a figure competitor. She's a figure pro. So we all have struggles, no matter who we are in this lifetime. I've had struggles, and everybody knows my struggles. So, we decided to work together with each other, and we still have a collaboration today. And hopefully that things are coming down in the world. She'll be able to get up on stage again. And then I got a little something for you afterwards too, Nadine, tell you what I'm doing. I had revealed it yesterday, but I'm going to reveal it again. So, tell us, where were you, a couple of years ago? What was going on in your life?
Well, I was probably at, I would say, the lowest point,
Mhm.
and there's been a few that I've ever been in my life. And it was, I didn't like who I was. I was an absolute, you know, shadow of who I knew I could be. My
Right.
self-confidence was just done. I've got a thyroid condition,
Mhm.
so that, with the food stuff, I was eating very well, but eating the wrong foods, as we found out. So dropping the body weight was a huge struggle for me.
Mhm.
I just was not just. I don't even recognize who I was, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, inside and out, like just yeah.
And if you follow her on her social media on Instagram and Facebook, most mornings she's doing an inspirational video to get you going, because both of us have the same attitude that we want to motivate, educate, and inspire, because we think that that's very important. But you were just a very unhappy person. You weren't
Mhm.
happy with who you are. You mentioned that you were married and you were lonely. You looked at your marriage as a validation, acceptance, but it
Mhm.
wasn't. Talk about that a little bit, and how that impacted your life, and then what brought you above and beyond having relationships and friendships with people. I think that's important.
Yeah, so that's so I was married like early in my early 20s, and I
Mhm.
think at that point in time was obvious. Yeah, it was really validation of being accepted, and
Mhm.
I think that somebody wanted to marry me and be with me. And I think naivety on my
Mhm.
part, immaturity for sure. But stuff that I'd gone through in my childhood and who I was hanging out with at the time, like that was the done thing.
Right.
So I got married, and it wasn't the best decision that I've ever made in my life. And it was, I was extremely unhappy, very lonely. And, you know, I was out partying pretty much every night of the week because I just couldn't cope with my reality, like my
Right.
life. And the particular photo that you're talking about, I remember it was a horse racing event that I went to. And I was so drunk. And I just thought when I looked at that photo, like that was my life for so many years, because I was just trying to numb the pain that I was in.
Right.
And I just, to be really honest with you, I just didn't care. Like I was
Right.
just at that point where I just didn't care. And, you know, I was drinking way too much alcohol. I obviously don't drink now, but yeah, it was, I think a lot of us have been in that situation.
Sure.
And
A lot of people turn to alcohol to alleviate that pain and to feel
yeah,
better because you
well,
can.
alcohol in my business. And for a lot of women, it's food, seeking comfort in the food.
Yeah.
I didn't really do that. I think I just drank
Right.
copious amounts of alcohol,
Right.
which is ridiculous.
So you were a figure competitor early in your life, and then you got married, and then you just didn't like yourself, like you say, you didn't like looking at yourself in the mirror, and you have children now. So you want to be able to have that positive influence on them. And it's important on this podcast. And usually I'm a little bit more lively on the podcast and I'm kind of goofing around. And Nadine knows that
Yeah.
all too well, and I'm always joking and so forth. But this is a little bit different because I think that this is more of a serious thing. I mean, we'll laugh a little bit later on because it's always good to have fun in life, Um, but I think this is serious because I mean, you really, made a total transformation, and you're looking at your kids, and you want to be that positive influence on your children, and then you wanted to take it because you and I have spoken about you also want to have a positive influence on females out there, and not only females but males, because you never know who's going to be listening to this and who is going to be, motivated by what we're discussing today. Talk a little bit about your kids and how'd you feel during this time, with your kids.
So yeah, so I was like married in my 20s, and then I did the shows after I broke up with him. So got divorced and I did the shows and did all right. And then, the kids are just such a huge blessing in my life. And I've spoken about this, I was told from an early age in my, I was like 19, 20, because I had some problems with my reproductive system. And I was told that I could not ever have children. And then, fast forward, a few years, and I think it got to 36, and I fell pregnant with Jax, and then had Jazz about 12 months later. And just those two are gifts. And I'd already changed my life at that point, and I was into health and fitness, but probably not all in to a certain extent. But the day that I became a mum, I was like all in. And now it wasn't about me, it was about them, and about being a good role model, and about being there for them no matter what, and being able to, it's the number one reason why I stopped drinking. If anything happened to them and I had a phone call and I had to make that decision, if they were in an accident or, something had happened and I had to make that life decision, and I wasn't in sound mind or body to do that, that is something that I wasn't prepared to live with or risk. Not to say that anything's going to happen, but it was just that I'm like, no, not doing it. So I always make sure that I set a really good example for them. I don't, I'm always positive. If they have a bad day at school, we always look for the bright things in it. I always encourage them to hang out with people that, make them feel good. If they hang out with friends that make them feel terrible about themselves, then they're not the right people to have.
Sure.
And then from the health and fitness perspective, as you get older, if you don't have your health, you don't have anything. And I really want to be, I want to be that mum that is defying all the odds, where they go, wow, is that your mum? She's out there running, playing soccer with you, or, swimming in the pool with you, or, being active with them and growing up with them and living supporting them. So it's super important.
Yeah, it's important because they take a look at what we do in life and they mimic us,
They're
and they
sponges. They just absorb it all.
and they absorb everything. And so you want it to be that positive force in their life
Totally.
as
There's
opposed
so
to the
much
negative.
negativity out there.
Right.
I just think my job as a mum is to, keep them positive and to know that there's good things out there,
Right.
and always
Right.
look for the good things in people and the positive. Like, not everything that happens on a daily basis is always going to be positive, but find the lesson in it. Is there something
Yeah. Right.
different?
Yeah. There's always a lesson in that in life.
Totally.
And
Totally.
you can always learn from something. And Jax and Jazz are really great kids. So I mean,
Yeah.
so you're doing an awesome job. Yeah, they're really, really, great kids. So it was not only the alcohol, but it was also the food. You just ate because
All the time. So my breakfast was okay. My lunch, I would have like a protein and a salad, and then it would just go downhill after that. So I would get,
at night, right? 'Cause
oh yeah. So I
when
get
you're
home
lonely
from
at night,
work, start drinking wine, and then, it was like the chips or the cheese and crackers and dips and charcuterie boards and, you know, all that kind of stuff. And then it was, the weekends, if I went out drinking, it was the pizza shop up the corner when you walk out of the nightclub, and, you're eating that, and then you're hungover the next day and you're getting greasy food because it makes you kind of feel better for 5 minutes. And yeah,
then you feel worse thereafter.
oh,
So
you feel terrible.
so where I grew up, they had the dirty water dogs. They had the trucks, and there was this one particular hot dog truck that was pretty famous in the city of Newark, and people from all over did in fact come to there, and it would be a mile or so long, the deep into Branchbrook Park, in order to get if you had any money left over, you can probably get three dogs and a sugary soda for probably a buck or two, and you always made sure you had that because you're a little bit hungry,
Yeah,
at the end of the day. But it was a situation. That's what we did in northern New Jersey. So it's the same, just a
very
little bit
similar.
different. Yeah,
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 very similar.
sure. And you've discussed this before. Your mental health was just shot, was gone. It was
Mhm.
history. There was
Yeah.
nothing there. Talk about this.
I remember, certain times, and like after the marriage, I've had a couple of destructive relationships after that. And, I remember being, it was actually when I'd moved here and broken up with the kid's dad. And I remember having showers and not turning the fan on in the bathroom and making sure it fogged right up because I couldn't look at myself in the mirror.
Mhm,
So I would like slap my makeup on or whatever in the fog
mhm.
because I couldn't physically, I was just at such a low point in my life. I couldn't look myself in the eye. I was
Yeah,
just so rock bottom. And it's not a good place to be,
yeah,
and the kids honestly have kept me going through this, and then meeting just some amazing people in my
right.
life who helped me and, kind of nurtured me and pointed me in the right direction. And Dr. Dan helping me with, my food and everything like that. That was hugely significant to where I am today. Like,
Yeah,
big
sure.
time.
And I mean, you're not feeling good. You're not looking good. You're eating and stuff like that. I mean, and when this happens, and like you had shared with me, now your husband is out, and he's doing what he's doing, and
Yeah, he sure
he's
was.
he was sure was, and he's having an affair. I mean, weren't home team, in other words, trying to figure out what needed to be, what needed to get done. And so that, you always said you had that sneaky suspicion he was cheating, but he was at that particular point in time.
Yeah.
Um,
And it was like I knew, like your intuition's always something that I wasn't quite aware of at that point in time, but I'm very well aware of it right now. And,
right.
my intuition, I remember calling a girlfriend of mine. I'm like, there's something not right. I don't know what it is. It's to do with him
Hmm.
and this other person. And I said, just remember this conversation. And then it was like fast forward 2 years, and I called her back and I'm like, hey, remember that time? I remember where I was driving, all that stuff. And she goes, yeah. And then, yeah, so always trust your gut, with that stuff.
Yeah, 100%. So, at always in these types of situations, um, you know, you have that moment or two in your life where you decide to change things around. What was that moment where you said, that's it, done, over with. I can't do this anymore, and I need to change my life. What was that defining moment?
Oh, there's been a few significant ones.
Let's talk about those.
So the one with my ex-husband, I actually had somebody come up to me on our 10th wedding anniversary and say, hey, this is what's been going on. And then I said to her, I want you to go up to him and say to him, Nadine knows everything. And I was, because we were out, and I was standing there so I could see him. And she went and said that to him. And he said to her, she won't believe you. And I just went, I'm out. I'm done. That's it. So that caused that significant change. And then probably rock bottom for me a couple of years ago was just knowing that I was better than this. Where I was, I'm like, I am better than this. I'm put on this earth to help people, to empower people. I just need to shake myself off. I need to get back in tune with who I am. I need to learn to love myself.
Right.
I need to take stock of who's in my life and
right.
who's, being positive in my life and who's not. And, the ones that aren't and not contributing in a positive way, they got to go. So I did a big stock take on that and decided from that point, I only surround myself with greatness. Surround myself with people that inspire me daily,
Right.
nurture me, love me, all those really, really positive aspects. And then if somebody doesn't, I just don't bother anymore. I just don't.
Yeah, you want to be around people who lift you up and you lift people up. You got to fill that bucket. And as you get older, you realize that more and more, because it becomes a situation where, as time goes on,
and that's friends, family, loved ones,
everybody.
clients included. I've been in this situation where I've had life sucking clients, and I just part ways because it's not worth.
I get it. I understand. Yeah. And when you had this epiphany, how long ago was that epiphany that you had?
Oh God, two and a bit years, not long.
2 years ago, right?
Yeah. It'll be 2 years in January, I think. Yeah. 2 years on the 1st of January. I'm I'm done. This is it.
It's interesting because you and I first met and started talking, I think just a little bit before that.
Yeah.
It was November, December, because when you decide no more, it's interesting how those people in your life come into your life. You don't know why just yet. And then the next thing you know, it just becomes apparent. And that's when, we were discussing and you were telling me about some health concerns. You were telling me about, your mental aspect of this. And, I was listening. I was sympathetically listening. And then I said to you, hey, listen, you know what? Let's give you some self-esteem and self-respect, because on the physical end, that's what in part I do. And, I explained to you, we're going to do some interesting lab testing, and we're going to look at your food sensitivities. We're going to look at your gut. We're going to change your diet. And to this date, I think it's a little less or a little bit more than 60 pounds of body fat that you have literally lost with all of this. So I am so proud of you. That is amazing. And that is to be commended, because it's really, it's really something where you said to me that you wanted to lose weight. You didn't want to, feel like this anymore. And we've been documenting that. And you've really done an incredible job. You were focused, you were disciplined, you were consistent, you were persistent. You didn't let any of the dark days come in, because there were those days like I want to eat this, and I'm like, no.
Can I? No.
Right? Remember,
Yeah.
it's like I want to eat this, no, and I want to do this, no. I remember saying to you, if you're serious about this, you need to be serious about your decisions, and you were. So you did take control over your mental health and your physical health, because you've made some, incredible leaps and bounds. Like I said, I am so proud of you. We are so proud of you.
Thank
And
you.
it's just amazing what you have done. And for those that are listening in, this is an inspirational story, because, you have, Nadine. She's a beautiful woman. She's smart. She's intelligent. She's entrepreneurial now. We'll get into that next. And, great personality, great sense of humor. And she's got a husband that's doing whatever. She's doing whatever to herself. And we've all been in that valley of despair type of a situation. We've all been there. We've all been there. We've all been there. And we all have to climb out, and we all have to climb out, and we all have to learn certain things, how to love yourself, because self-care is not selfish. In order to love somebody else, you have to have that. You have to love yourself. And she really just started to climb and claw every single day. So I love these stories because of, growing up in an immigrant family, you had to claw anyway. So this is
Yeah.
just another way of clawing, which is different. And, Nadine had said to me at one point in time, I want to open up businesses and I want to do this. So we discussed that, and we talking, helping each other with that. And now we have Fit Aussie Mama.
Yeah.
Fit Aussie Mama. So now
Yeah.
we get a little loud and proud, and now we start smiling a little bit, because I'm proud of you. Fit Aussie Mama. Tell us about Fit Aussie Mama.
It's my dream.
Fam,
Years ago.
FAM, Fit Aussie Mama. I'm going to call you Fam from here on in.
Bam. Bam. That's it. That's it. You'll see all that come through. That's all coming. I wanted to do this years ago and just wasn't I just don't think I was in the right place at the right time. And I'm now in the right place at the right time and have the right people around me. And so my website is up.
Awesome website, by the way.
It is. She did just such a fabulous job. And that's just like the bare bones of it. There's way more coming. I've got meals coming that it can be delivered in Canada here to your door, which are like macro controlled chef made meals. We're working with a couple of people looking at some supplements. I am building an app which is going to help trainers, online trainers. There is so much. I call it my cloud, so much in my cloud. A fitness wear company, so that's doing really, really well right now. So we've got some new collections coming out with that in the coming weeks, so that's going to be fun. And then, my online business with my clients, it's doing really good too. So it's just nice to have everything. There may be a podcast coming soon. There's
Maybe
so
I'll be a guest.
Maybe you will. Maybe you will.
Maybe I'll be a guest on your podcast.
Maybe we'll put your name down.
Yeah, you got to put my name down and see if I
qualify.
see if I make the grade, right?
Oh, you'll be fine. You'll be fine.
Yeah,
So,
I think I'll be good. So I'm going on to the website right now, and I just want to say that she is really. This is a great website. It's Fit Aussie, AUSSIE Mama, MOMMA. She's from Australia. Fit. If you haven't noticed the accent, and she talks about her struggle with the weight because of the eating and the drinking, struggle with confidence, hormones, which I helped her out with, depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, and more. And and her being up on stage, advanced nutrition degrees. So if you're somebody out there that's listening to this, we recommend Nadine. We have helped each other out. We have learned from each other, and it's incredible. It's incredible that she is sharing this transformation, and she's sharing what she went through in order to do this. So thank you for being vulnerable.
Oh, you're more than welcome. I made a decision, like at the 2 year ago mark. I'm like, okay, I'm going to be real raw and authentic. So that's what you get.
Oh, I know it.
And
Believe me, everybody who's listening, she's been very real and authentic, and she just tells you what it is. I'm on the phone with her, and I go, "What did you just say? Huh?
Yeah.
What did you just say?"
That's how it goes.
Right?
But yeah, I just and speaking my truth, and just I just want people to know that if I can do it, anybody else can. And a lot of my
I think that's the the moral of this podcast. If you want to change your life, you can change your life.
You sure can.
It's not easy, but on the other side is, look at Nadine, lost 60 pounds of fat. Holy moly cannoli. When she got on today, I just said, you just lost a couple of more pounds. And I'm like, you can see it from the first time I met her until now. So this transformation, I'm so proud of you, and she's very straightforward. We're going to make her an honorary Italian American from Northern New Jersey. So your last name moving forward is Moxino. Or Massimo. We're going to call you Massimo. Nadine Massimo, because she's got the tude going. She's got the tude going. That's all I'm going to say. So it's all good. So so you've made this incredible transformation. Like I keep saying, we're just proud of you. The best is yet to come. We have collaborations going. I look forward to those, and it's going to be incredible. So when you're up on stage, we're going to be there, and we're going to be cheering you on. Yeah. Now let me ask you a question.
Go.
Will you be there cheering me on?
Oh, you're going to do it? Yes.
Will you be there cheering me on?
When are you doing it? Yeah.
So a friend of mine from the WNBF, a friend of mine from the WNBF, Christian Palmer. He's a good friend of mine. He and I were talking. He said, "Send me a picture." I sent him the picture. He goes, "No, silly. Send me a picture in your bathing suit or something like that." So what do you want me swimming on the beach? He goes, "Just send me a picture." He goes. So I sent him, and he goes, "Okay." He goes, we can work with this. I mean, you can see that you've done some working out and things of that nature. And his girlfriend is Linda Stevens. She's an IFBB figure pro, and she's like, "Let's do it." Perfect. She said, let's do this. So another friend of mine has indicated that she just won the WNBF figure pro championship in November, and she's like, "You're coming up to work out with me." And when you went from New Jersey, you go down the shore, you go up. We're a north and south state, so she says you're coming up to work out with me, and I think we're starting, next week. So it's March now. I'm doing my metabolic reset as we speak, just to let you know that that's happening right now. Good. And
the WNBF is a fabulous
federation. Apparently they called the president of the WNBF, and they're like, "We got somebody for the masters division." I'm like, "What is that? Like the old man division? Like what happens? Do I have to have a little bit more gray hair? What did you say?" I'm like the silver fox or something like that, right? So what happens? I got to have a little bit more gray hair.
And you tan?
What's that?
And get a good tan.
And get my tan. Well, it's easy for me. I just walk outside in the sun being Sicilian.
Oh, no, they'll spray you up.
Oh, they're going to spray me up? I could just walk outside. I get a darker tan.
It won't be dark enough.
It won't be dark enough? All right. 2 days. That's all it takes. So they said, "Why not?" And I said, "Why not?" And I'm doing this to prove to myself, that you can be 60 years old and you can reach a goal. And it could be physical. So there's the mental aspect of this, and so forth and so on. And, everybody knows, and Nadine, James, you said hello to James earlier today, and he's 14 years old. And I think that part of it was the part of the genesis and the birth of this was, we were talking not too long ago, and he said, "Dad," he says, "what are you talking about?" He goes, "Leave me alone. I know how to play hockey. You don't know how to play hockey. What do you know, Dad? Have you ever gotten that before, Nadine, from your
I
team?
don't know, not yet. I'm sure it's coming though. Mine aren't 14 yet.
Right. So I had said to him, okay, I looked at him and I said to him, you have no idea
No.
that in high school state championships, 9 state championships in different sports and college sports, you have no idea. You weren't there. You hear the stories from grandma and, your aunts, my sisters. But I said, I guess you're going to find out now. Your old man's intensity. You're going to find out how I could be committed. And you're going to find out that it's going to be a different situation.
And he'll see what discipline is with you going through this. He'll see what it really takes. Hockey's a cakewalk compared to what you're going to do.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, I made that commitment to Christian. I mean, we all have struggles in life, and we're going to document the struggles that I'm going through. Some of those struggles. We have a personal friendship. And you tell me, we're always discussing. So what's going to happen is that we're going to document this. So you have to be there now.
I'll be there. Give me the date.
And that's the way it is. Maybe you got to text me. You're going to text me once a day and saying, hey, loser, what did you do today?
I would never say that.
Loser, what did you do today?
No.
Well, I'm old fashioned. That's the way we were motivated. I don't take offense to anything like that. And if you do, that's okay. You can motivate yourself in a different way. So I'm going to be doing this. So I'll be right there with you. Maybe we'll do the same show.
See, when is it? What's the date?
I don't know. I think there's a show in November, and we're going to try for that. And I'm going to have to be, very, very dedicated for that,
Mhm.
for that to happen. So I do have a 2 1/4 pack going.
A 2 1/4 pack.
It was a 2.5. Now it's a 2 1/4 because I let myself go because of the hockey tournaments that he's had over the last month. But now, it went to a 2. Now it's a 2 1/4 pack. So we're looking for that. So
Get the shreds.
yeah, we can do it. There's little remnants there. There's remnants there of stuff. That's what we discovered, Nadine, is there remnants. So enough about me.
It's so cool when it starts to happen and you see what's under there. It's awesome.
And listen, you know what? Made a decision. Friends of mine have come out to help, and just like you did, and you just you don't know when those right people walk in and out of your life. So I love all of you, and I'm very excited about this. So Nadine, we're almost done here. And if you can give our listening audience, because I look at it as your listening audience too, because you've been on so much and they know who you are. Listen, if you want to be like Nadine, you got to be committed. And, she sent me some pictures, and I mean, from what she was beforehand to what she is now, it's just 2 totally different people. Like, you wouldn't even notice her, at all, from what that was into what this is. And you can look at social media where she put this post, and I took this post of her, years ago, and what she's doing today. But if you can give our listening audience 3 clinical pearls on how to approach changing your life, if you will, what are those?
Sustainability. I see that I think the statistics out there, like 98% of people that start a diet and lose it over 20 pounds, put it back on and more within 2 years. So I always, with my coaching business, it's about being sustainable. It's about having balance. Like, it fits in with their lifestyle. I teach them, and it becomes a lifestyle moving forward. So always look for, sustainability. Find a coach that you relate to. B, has certifications, because I spoke about this earlier today. It's unfortunately on the online training realm, it's not regulated. And I heard somebody the other day say that they learned what they were doing off YouTube. And this person has a coaching business of a significant amount of people. So find somebody that knows what they're on about, that has credentials, that can show you, testimonials. If you've got celiac disease, for example, find somebody that's worked with people that have had that can produce the results.
Yeah.
Not just, deplete calories, increase cardio, and then, hope for the best. And I really think, the third major one, and you say it all the time, is if you're not testing, then you're guessing. And, the staple things for me in my business, and I know like Dan, you as well, the food sensitivity testing is key. Regular blood work, hormone panels, lipid profile, like all that stuff, DNA testing, it is key. It gives you just takes the guesswork out of it and saves you time. And I can relate to this because, when I met you, I had my macros and I was eating really healthily, and still before we did the food sensitivity test, I think we did like 7 or 8 weeks, and I was like to the T on what you'd sent me through to do. Then we got those results back, and it was like pretty much most 70-80% of what I was eating every day was causing an inflammatory response in my body, and that's why I wasn't seeing any changes. So, and then that was obviously contributing to my thyroid issue, and it just
hormone imbalances, thyroid dysfunction, and so forth and so on.
Yeah, so they would be my 3 keys.
I love those keys. And number one, you have to be consistent, because if you're not consistent, you can't out bad diet. You can't out supplement a bad diet. You can't out
doesn't work.
You can't outwork a bad diet.
Nope.
I think that's key. The second thing is we're finding this all the time right now. You need to get in those individuals that are experienced with the credentials, because there's just so many individuals that are out there right now that are doing this. And you want to make sure, if somebody's looking at your blood work, they've graduated high school and college at the very least. Well, you can't do that. You're supposed to be a doctor type of a thing to be doing this. There's some states that permit others to do it, so you want to make sure that you're doing that, because then you get the real deal, because then you're getting the real deal. And then, food sensitivity testing and leaky gut testing and other functional lab testing and traditional lab testing, like we did with Nadine. We had referred her to people to do the testing, to the medical doctor to do this. She's in Canada. It is a game changer, as we say. So, Nadine, thank you very much for being on. I always appreciate talking with you, and I always appreciate seeing you. I want to thank everybody for listening in today. Please share this with family, friends, neighbors, coworkers. It's inspirational. I wasn't as crazy as I am normally, because I think that this was a very serious type of a podcast, and we needed to communicate and show, demonstrate the seriousness of how you can overcome what you're going through, no matter what that is. So, Nadine, thank you.
Yeah. And then just one last thing, I was driving, so my daughter's 10, and I was driving with her a couple of weeks ago, and she said to me, "Mum, I really love the person that you've become."
Oh.
And I was
just going to say, the faucet just gets turned on.
Oh yeah, and
at that point, and
from a 10-year-old, and I think, and it was at that point I'm like, they just watch everything that you do. So just be mindful of that around your kiddos, because just to have your kids say something like that to you, especially when you've gone through such a huge struggle and they've witnessed, some of it, just amazing. Makes it all worth it. It
makes it all worth it. So thank you very much, Nadine. Thank you, everybody, for listening.
Appreciate you.
Nadine will be back on again soon. Everybody, live your best life. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.